Hey guys, it's Scott with Keeping It Real Bass Fishing. Welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to jump in here today and we're going to do some videoing and some recording. We out here at Goose Pond, not not on Guntersville, but what I call Goose Pond. This is in the neighborhood. It's my neighborhood pond. I call it Goose Pond because usually there's a lot of geese out here. I've done a lot of videos out here and recording out here where I've caught a lot of big bass, and February is a good time to do that on this lake. The bass are, you know, getting ready to move into that spawning state. As this water starts to warm up out here though, and they move down on this end usually a lot and spawn, and I've caught some good 8-pounders and 10-pounders out of here during that time, especially in the pre-spawn state, I guess would be the right way to say it, because they're definitely not spawning yet, but we usually catch them. I've got videos and pictures of a lot of good ones we've caught out of here, you know, 8-pounders and up. So we're going to try it. Like I say, well, I guess it's about like around February the 20th, something like that. So, you know, it's getting about that time. So we want to give it a try. We're going to go see if we can get that big one today. Y'all stay tuned. That'll be a good one. Oh, there he is. Finally got one. We'll go through. I mean, that finally got me one. Oh no, chatterbait. I knew they about this time of year, boys. You see what I'm talking about? That's a chunk. Good fish. Probably good 3-4 pound. Big chunk. Chatterbait. Oh, chatterbait.
Oh, that's a big one.
He's a good one. Good fish. Trying to get a picture of him. Alright guys, I went and tied on another chatterbait and put some of this fish lure on. Just I'm tied on a black and blue swim chatterbait. Put a Contact swim bait on as a trailer. I was using those swim bait trailers that are made by Z-Man that look like bait fish. That's just some, they smell like shad. That rib. I tied on a black and blue chatterbait. I'll get it out in a minute. And we ain't got much time. That sun's fixing to be going down over behind them houses here shortly. But I just wanted to try throwing this black and blue a few times. Because usually black and blue, I do good on black and blue. Black and blue is a good color, especially in stained water. Like this water here, like chocolate milk. Especially down here on this end. And with that Contact trailer, that thing just it's totally looked different in the water with that combination. It just, I've caught more fish with that. I was experimenting using those swim baits that made by Z-Man. They actually look like baked fish, the way they're made, and they're cut and notched, you know, so that they get that swimming action. It's not like a Contact, you know, with a paddle tail. And so I put on that Contact swim bait, you know, paddle tail. It gets a totally different look than what that other one did. The other bait looked like. Now the other one looked good too. Obviously I caught that 4-pounder a while ago on it. And there's a shad color. Threw it over in that daggum fountain and broke it off, so I couldn't get it out. But you know, I've got several. I got plenty more of that color, but I didn't want to tie another back on it because I wanted to. I've fished it all the way around this pond. I must have thrown it 100 times and only caught that one fish. And so I said, well, let me tie on a black and blue and just go try it. I just want to throw it and try it a few times before I head to the house. And see if we can catch another big one before we go. You say, well Scott, you didn't catch a lot of fish today. Well, maybe I hadn't. I've enjoyed doing it and had fun trying. This time of year fishing's tough. You know, to catch a bass, period, you're doing good. Especially catch any size. And you know, and I'm not in a, you notice I'm not in a boat and I'm not using a live scope, forward face sonar, or down imaging, side imaging to show me where the fish are, so I can, you know, hand feed them, because that's what them guys are doing. I mean, you might not agree with me, but my personal opinion and preference, you know, I should say really opinion, if you got to use that kind of equipment to catch fish, and then you're not a pro. And always pros, they have so many screens on their TV. I mean, well, TV screens, the bit on their boats, you know, they'll have 3 or 4 at the front and 2, 3, 4, 5 at the steering column. You know, and they're, you know, big 12, 15-inch screens, like TV screens. You know, it's ridiculous. If you got to have all that to find fish and catch fish, you ain't a fisherman in my book. You definitely ain't no pro. Because I mean, you give anybody, see, everybody can't afford that stuff. I mean, I have I have my own bass boat, and I have my own equipment in my boat. And but I don't use it. I don't use forward face sonar, and I could. I don't use live scope, and I could, but I don't use it on purpose. I've thought about buying it and using it, and I've just decided not to do it. Because if I got to use that to find fish, it's like video fishing. I got to find fish and stand there, look at a screen, and do some kind of Nico rig or neg rig or something, and drop it in their mouth using the screen to do it. What's the fun in that? To me, there's no fun in it. You know, bass fishing is all about knowledge and wisdom and skill. You know, talent. Anybody can, if you give everybody, put everybody in a tournament that knows how to bass fish, put them in a tournament, give them all a boat, and give them all the same amount of equal equipment with the same amount of training, that know how to use all of it, and put them out there on the lake to fish. You know, and that's what they got to depend on. You know, you gotta, you may have a fair, you know, chance or at being competitive in doing it that way, but what's the fun in it? You know, people don't want to watch you, you know, especially you pros that are on TV in these tournaments, the Bass Masters or the Bassmaster Classic or Major League Fishing or any of these big leagues. We don't want to watch you stare at a TV screen and all day long, and just sit there dropping off the edge of your boat catching fish. Then I'm speaking for a lot of people. We don't want to watch you do it. There's no fun in that. There's nothing that we can gain or learn from that. You know, and as fans, we want to see you guys go out and catch fish without that equipment. We'd rather see you go out and just hunt the fish, you know, find the fish. If you need to use, take your down imaging, side imaging to try to locate and find fish, that's one thing. That's understandable. You know, your sonar, your regular sonar, you know, you use when you're running down the lake or whatever, so that you know, you're not beaching yourself on some new place that you never fished before. You know, that's understandable. But to use it to get out there and sight fish, I mean, not sight fish, but get out there where you're sight fishing off of the equipment like that, but to use it in the way that you've been using it, I think you should ban it and be illegal to even use it. If you're a pro and you're tournament fishing, I don't care what tournament you're in, it should be banned and not allowed to be used in a tournament. Not to use to fish with. To sit there and find fish and catch fish by watching the screens and dropping it right in their mouth. That's like feeding candy to a baby. It's cheating. And I've been fishing ever since I was a little boy. I'm almost 60 years old, so a good 50 years, close to it. And I fished many years without any kind of equipment, and many years with nothing more than just an old sonar fish finder, front of the boat, with graphs you couldn't, you know, with the graphs that look like cartoon graphs. You know what I'm saying, the old ones. That's all we had back in the day, and we thought that was something. You know, that was just to really help us find, you know, the water temperature and find rock beds or creek channel or points and drop offs, and just kind of help us locate areas where fish ought to be. But we still had to figure them out. We still had to go fish for them. And that's what made it fun and made it competitive. With me against you and me against everybody else in the field, and see who's a better fisherman. And what lures worked for you, but whenever you're, you turn it into a video game like you have. We don't care for that anymore. We don't want to watch that mess. I don't. Me, I ain't the only one. You're losing a lot of fans because we don't want to see that mess. And you're going to keep losing a lot more. I'm just telling you. I don't believe, you probably don't care what I'm saying, and it probably don't matter to you, and you're probably going to keep on using it. Now let's say the people who run or head and run these tournaments finally get the message when everybody starts boycotting your tournaments. We got us another one. He's a little boy. It's black and blue. Boy, that water's cold. I like that black and blue chatterbait. Little small boy. That's the smallest bass I've ever caught out of here. This let me know that they are multiplying in here. So black and blue. Contact, put that Keitech on there, black and blue. Probably would have been throwing. I would have caught more fish. I know there's some fish in here. Oops. I mean, I know there's fish in here, but I mean, I felt like there'd be some fish down here on this end. They usually are. But I just ain't been able to catch him. Just keep chunking. I caught him right here at the bank too. It's shallow. He probably went in a couple feet of water right there. 2-3 feet. Hey guys, just wanted to do a little recap on what we were throwing today. I threw a bunch of different lures I was experimenting with, but my main goal was to fish that pond like I told you with chatterbait. I fish it every February. Usually I'll fish it 2 or 3 times in the month of February, and I usually catch some big largemouth bass out of that pond. I know it's got 5, 8 pounder, 10 pounders in it. Today we caught a good 4 pounder, and probably I caught one other that probably maybe, I don't know, maybe a pound or so. But the thing is, I wanted to show you, I mean, chatterbaits are good baits to use this time of year in February. And if you don't know that and you ain't already throwing one, a little bit of information about the chatterbait that would help you out. The one we're throwing today was the 1/2 ounce. Of course, they're a Z-Man, and I just think they have better quality chatterbaits. They work better. They got good hooks, sharp hooks. Everything about them is quality chatterbaits, and I've used them for years. But anyway, the 1/2 ounce, the fish are still kind of deep, and that pond has got 20 foot in the middle, and the banks they drop down pretty deep, and You know, it's anywhere from 5 to 10, 20 foot, pretty much, except around the banks. And I know the fish are holding down in that little deep area, in that ditch, in that pond. And so I want to try to get down to them. So I'm throwing this is a 1/2 ounce, and I used this Yamamoto swim bait. And this color is called, what is it called? Sight Flash. This is what it says. But you see, it's a clear, like pepper and white. Kind of goes good combination with that color of the chatterbait. I thought it matches up good. It's a good combination. And when you put it on there, it's a really good trailer. It matches up good, and it hooks up good, and it runs real good too. It runs real straight, and it makes the chatterbait heavier. So the heavier the chatterbait is, the quicker it's going to fall, and the easier it is to slow roll it. You know, you want it to vibrate, but you don't want it to come back too fast. So you want it to stay close to the bottom, or in deeper water, to where the bass or at whatever depth they are, if they're on the bottom or suspended or wherever. So you can crank it back at a certain speed, so that, because if you crank it back too fast, you're going to cause the chatterbait, it's going to rise up. It's going to rise up toward the surface. The slower you roll it, you can keep it down in the water column. So this bait is heavier than some of the trailers out there, and it helps keep it down. And you can swim it back a little bit slower. And you have to twitch it rod tip a little bit here every once in a while, because you'll feel it bumping and dragging the bottom. You want to, it may get hung up, or if you don't feel it vibrating, you want to twitch it, get that blade vibrating again, because it will drag the bottom if you don't, if you're not cranking back fast enough. You got to find out that you got to play with it and get that right speed. And depending on the type of rod you're throwing it on, particularly the reel, and the ratio, if it's a high-speed reel, slow speed, or slower speed reel, you have to adjust how fast you're cranking it in. But if you'll slow the crankbait down, I'm sorry, not the crankbait, if you'll slow the chatterbait down and try to get just enough vibration out of it to where it's vibrating, and use, these trailers work real good. Keitech trailers work real good. I use those. Keitechs are really good, but if you're going to use one this time of year, use a big Keitech trailer. One that's bigger, that's heavier. Reason being, to help keep that chatterbait down and to slow it down. We also throwed, I actually broke one like this off when I was throwing it. It stuck in that fountain, and I couldn't get it loose, and I ended up breaking it off. So I tied on the black and blue, the old famous black and blue chatterbait, and as you can see right here, and put on the Keitech trailer. You see how big that one is? I forget what size that is. I don't have them in the pack. They're laying in my box, and I have a box, Plano box with all my grubs in it, and or trailers, swim baits, and everything's separated in these boxes. So I get rid of the plastic bags. I don't know what size it is, but you can see it's the bigger one. That's why I was trying to remember what size it was. It's about at least 4 inches long. It's got more weight. That's what I'm trying to get at. It helps keep that thing down, and it also swims really good too. And I've caught a lot more fish, I should say a lot of fish on chatterbaits. I catch a lot of fish on chatterbaits year round. And so I'm not just speaking on something I don't know anything about. I throw a chatterbait and a spinnerbait probably more than I throw anything, and I catch fish on both of those more than I do anything else throughout the whole year. It don't matter, spring, summer, winter, fall. Some seasons are better than others. But anyway, they both catch fish. You just gotta learn different techniques and things that you can use to try to find a way to catch them. You know, the Keitech, I prefer the Keitech trailer on the chatterbait than I do this Yamamoto. I guess maybe it's preference because it's mostly all I've ever thrown on it. I just started putting these on the chatterbait, and even I'm going to try them on spinnerbait too. I like the action, especially when fish are chasing bait and the water warms up. This may work out really good, more so than the paddle tail, because we got a lot more realistic action back there. I'm going to continue, you know, using this, experimenting with it, and trying it as a trailer. I know these are meant to be used as swim baits, but hey, you know, let's try some things and see if it'll work. It's been working for me today. I used it on this, like I said, on this Z-Man chatterbait, and you saw yourself, and I caught that 4-pounder on it using the Yamamoto swim bait with it instead of the Keitech trailer. And then I turned around and caught one on the black and blue using the Keitech trailer. So they both work. It's just that, you know, you just gotta find the fish, and whichever one will work will help you, you know, keep the bait in the strike zone. Help you keep the bait where the fish are at. If they're on the bottom, up shallow, suspended, you know, so you gotta be able to do that. And these, if you think about what you're doing with these baits, and you can kind of help balance it and keep it in the strike zone longer. That's just my tip for you. Just wanted to throw that out there today, let you guys, you know, see that you definitely, it don't matter how cold that water is. That water is about 40, 42 degrees, and you still catch fish on chatterbait. You just got to slow it down. All right, y'all have a good one. It's Scott with Keeping It Real Bass Fishing. All right, guys. Appreciate you joining. I'm Scott with Keeping It Real Bass Fishing. Appreciate you joining today. We've fished this pond for a few hours this afternoon, and the sun's starting to go down, and we're going to head it back to the house. We was able to catch 2. We got 2 today. Got one about 4 pound, and got another maybe about a pound. It wasn't too big. On the chatterbait, that water's still cold, so, but they're moving up a little bit, moving around, getting fat, getting ready to do some spawning. I know they're full of eggs, and they definitely are eating up. So just be on the prowl, man, and keep looking and watching. These fish are starting to move up, and not just in these ponds, but, you know, on the big water. As I like to say, you can find them there in the big water too, in places where you normally go catch fish where they spawn at. They're not going to be up shallow. They're not going to be up in the backs of creeks and these flats, and, you know, up there making beds, right, and being on the beds. That's not where they're at right now this time of year. You should know better. But they'll be coming up out of the deep though, moving up out of that 30 and 40 foot water, maybe moving up 20, 15, 10 foot off these points and cuts and places like that. Maybe it has ledges or some stumps or boulders and things for them to hold to. Maybe some logs, sunken trees, whatever. They're gonna start moving up what I call pre-staging to get into the pre-spawn and get ready to move back up and get, you know, to the areas where they want to spawn. They're kind of like in that transition state right now. I think the water's still really cold and the weather ain't been helping, but when that water temperature starts warming back up, it gets up in them 50s. Right now it's still in the 40s, but it gets up in them 50s and up towards 60 degrees. They definitely gonna be moved up, getting ready to spawn in shallow water. Just watch out for the water temperatures. Find the warm water, and the water's got some color to it. The sun's getting on it pretty good, warming it up. Right now, be some good places to be looking for some fish. That's my tip for you. Hope you enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. Been a, you know, like I said, we didn't catch a bunch of fish. Did catch a pretty good sized fish, you know, for today, being in this pond. And I enjoyed that, just catching a decent fish. But just getting outside and enjoying the weather, enjoying the day with some good weather, you know, instead of being stuck in the house and it raining and freezing cold. All right, join us next time. I hope you learned something about chatterbait fishing. It's Scott with Keeping It Real Bass Fishing. Y'all take care. See you next time.